So I've added 4 images, but now we have a problem. Can you tell what the problem is? The camera icon is gone, so we cannot add a new image. To solve this problem, we need to enable horizontal scrolling. This is really easy to implement. We just have to wrap this view inside a scroll view component. So let's add a scroll view here. Once again, we have 2 implementations. One implementation comes from React Native Gesture Handler. The other comes from React Native. This is the implementation we're going to use. So here's our scroll view. Now, by default, we get a vertical scroll bar. We can change that to horizontal by setting horizontal to true. Or we can use the shorthand syntax and just type the name of the prop, so we don't have to set the value. Now, take a look. So we can scroll, beautiful. Let me show you something. Let's add a new image. Wouldn't that be nicer if the moment I added this new image, this component automatically scrolled to the end? Let me show you how to implement this. Here's the documentation for the scroll view component on React Native website. Now over here, you can see the methods of this component. Here we have this method, scroll to end. If we have a vertical scroll view, this will scroll to the bottom. If we have a horizontal scroll view, this will scroll to the right. But how can we call a method on this component? Using the ref hook. So using the ref hook, we can get a reference to an instance of a component. Let me show you. So here we call useRef. This is defined in React. Take a look. This is a function defined in React. It's a hook. So we call this and get a reference object. So let's store that here. Now we need to link this object with this scroll view over here. To do that, here we set the ref prop to scroll view. As simple as that. Now, if we type scroll view.current, we get access to this instance of scroll view. So here we can call its method, like scroll to end. Unfortunately, here we don't get IntelliSense because this useRef returns a general purpose reference object. It doesn't know that we're talking to a scroll view. Okay. So this is how we can call a method on this component. But where is the right place to call this method? Well, this component has a prop. It's actually an event. It's called onContentSizeChange. So when the size of this container changes, this event gets raised, and this is the moment we want to scroll to the end. So here we pass a function, and then call this method. Okay, now let's save the changes. So here's the end result. Let's test our app. So I'm going to add a new image. And here's our automatic scrolling. Beautiful. Now there is one tiny issue with this component. Let me show you. So let's apply a background color to the scroll view. So as a temporary solution, I just want to apply an inline style here. Background color, yellow. Now take a look. See what happened? The reason this is happening is that by default, the scroll view grows to fill all the available space. This can totally mess up with our listing edit form later on. So when we add this component to our listing edit form, the scroll view is going to push down the other fields on the form so it can take all the available space. To solve this problem, we need to wrap this inside a view. As I told you before, by default, the size of a view is determined by the size of its content. So this view will grow enough to fit these components. Let me show you. So here we add a view. Okay, now take a look. Our scroll view is no longer growing more than it should. So let's go back and remove this background color. All right, we're done with this component. Let's move on to the next step.